To many people, Trillium are the most beautiful of spring wildflowers. And there's no place better to see Trillium than right here in the rich Cove Forest section of the Natural Heritage Garden Trail. Trillium are named Trillium because they have parts in threes. They have 3 petals, 3 sepals, 3 leaves, and 6 stamens, 3 times 2, and 3 parted or 6 parted ovaries. So everything in parts of 3, Trillium. Beautiful plants, and there are 2 main groups: those that have their flowers held directly up against the leaves, like this lance-leaf Trillium, or the pale or faded Trillium that's so characteristic of the southern Blue Ridge Escarpment region here that we're representing in this exhibit. And then there are those that have their flowers held on pedicels above the leaves, those like the sweet white Trillium, the bent Trillium, and the wake robins, the great white-flowered Trillium. Even though they look so different, those pedicels, different colored flowers, they're actually very closely related, members of the same genus, the genus Trillium. That genus turns out to have a really cool story too. Trillium are more abundant here in the southern Blue Ridge Escarpment ecoregion, our backyard, our mountains of South Carolina, than anywhere else on the planet. There's more species per unit area. Now why? Well, it's not just Trillium. There's more Trillium per square inch, there's more wild gingers per square inch, and there's also more salamanders per square inch. So why more species here in the southern Blue Ridge Escarpment? It has to do with the fact that Trillium, salamanders, and wild gingers are all very poor at migration. You see, Trillium and wild gingers are carried around, their seeds are carried around by ants. And ants can't carry seeds too far, and it takes about 7 to 10 years to grow an adult Trillium. So in 7 to 10 years, they might be able to disperse maybe 100 meters, 100 yards approximately. And that's just simply not fast enough to keep up with climate change. They can't escape changing climates to migrate north or south. Well, this little section of our mountains has provided a place where these species can exist in the same region without having to move long distances to accommodate for changes in climate. How do they do that? Well, they can migrate up and down slopes because there's a lot of elevation change in a very short distance here. And we are at the very southern edge of the Blue Ridge, so we catch more moisture than anywhere else in the mountains, and maybe we have a slightly more tempered climate than anywhere else in the mountains. But also, our mountains are dissected by deep gorges, and those gorges themselves shelter humid, moist microclimates that are always warmer in the wintertime and always cooler in the summertime than the surrounding area. And all those things have worked together over eons to produce this incredible assortment of plants, places that I call crucibles of life during times of change.